So yeah, man. UFC 250 was the big, I guess you want to call it celebration, I guess, of America's birthday, and then also
No, not really America's birthday. Somebody
kind of
else's birthday.
somebody else's birthday that was happened. I guess they tried to coincide with it.
Well,
There
it was Flag Day, to be fair.
So they tried to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States there. They tried to do
Mhm.
that with it, in a way, and they tried to do it with this huge UFC event, that was mostly on taxpayer money, but, you also had that with it.
Allegedly.
Um, and then the fight card on this there, um, and then you had a lot of seemed like a lot of MMA guys didn't wanna do it there. They didn't wanna
Mhm.
kinda be a part of it,
Yeah,
because
it's like there was like a schism within the UFC. There was like a lot of guys that were, when it was announced that they were doing an event on the White House like a year and a half ago, I think when Donald Trump first announced it, there was like, a bunch of some of the worst people in the UFC, like John Jones, who, had just retired and vacated the title after stalling out Tom Aspinall, who's the current champion's career for like 2 years because he refused to fight him because he a little bitch, and Conor McGregor, who were both begging to be on the card. And then there was others like a guy at a flyweight, Brandon Royval, who pretty much in an interview said that, yeah, this is basically like, like some Hunger Games shit.
So the card here, and let me know if I'm pronouncing these names
Okay.
wrong. So you had the lightweight championship, which Justin Gaethje
Yeah,
versus
Justin Gaethje versus Ilya Topuria, who
okay,
prior to this, Topuria was undefeated. He went on, I think a lot of people think one of the greatest like 3-fight knockout streaks of all time with, Alexander Volkanovski, who at the time was the number one pound for pound guy, Max Holloway, who is another one of the like all time great featherweights, and Charles Oliveira, who his title run is one of the most exciting in the sport.
mm, okay. And Justin Gaethje ended up defeating him there.
Mhm,
So all these, it seemed like I didn't end up catching. I saw some of the highlights and some of the matches.
mhm.
It seemed like all these were knockouts, every
Yeah,
single one.
all it was all finishes the entire card, and that was, like, kind of to be expected because any of the hardcore fans, you look at the matchmaking of this, it's like, uh, Michael Chandler, who's, like, 38 years old and is kind of washed against Mauricio Huffy, who his style is basically, like, updated Conor McGregor, who is, like, young, hungry, he's fast, he's great striker, good takedown defense, and Chandler, who has the fight IQ of a squirrel and also looked terrible. Derek
Mm.
Lewis, who is another guy who is, kind of at the tail end of career versus another young and hungry prospect and Josh Hokett. Another matchup that's kind of like, yeah, we can kind of see the writing on the wall. And Sean O'Malley, the former bantamweight champion, versus Ayman Zahabi, who is a good fighter, but nobody that is like a win over him doesn't really speak much to how ready you are to fight for the title, which he's trying to get back to.
Mm. Okay.
The
Uh,
most competitive fight on the card on paper was the opener, which was Diego Lopez, Steve Garcia, which that was a banger fight, like no matter what card it's on.
mm. Okay. Yeah, so you had that one there. Um, so that we said that was the best one. Diego Lopez
Mhm,
versus Steve Garcia there. That was the
mhm,
featherweight one. That also, yeah, like I said, all these ended up in knockouts
mhm.
there, with that. Um, and you had a lot of them as well there. So I heard a lot about this fight. It was Alex Pereira there who said that maybe it was too soon for him to step out
Mhm.
there, and kind of get
Uh,
out there.
yeah, there's a lot going to it. Pereira, he's and Cyril Gahn, the guy he fought, he has a reputation of doing a lot of like dirty shit, like poking people in the eye, like hitting shots to the back of the head, which is illegal in the sport because people can die if you like hit on the brainstem, and he does that a lot. And Pereira, he's kind of a little bit salty about this, but what people forget prior to him getting dropped and getting hit in the back of the head, which, I think I watched it a couple times, like, it was a flurry of like 15 shots, maybe 3 of them were questionable, and like 3 or 4 were like 100% to the back of the head. But it's in a scramble. The guy's like moving, trying to like get into position, trying to like defend himself. So I can give a little bit of grace there. But Pereira, he, looked so much slower than he has in previous fights. He's the previous champion at middleweight, which is 185 pounds, which he was basically dying to make that weight, and also defended the belt 3 times at 205, which was the perfect weight class for him. And now he's up at heavyweight, which is, he weighed in heavier than Cyril Gane at like 250, which I don't know how like used to he is to moving at that weight class. And also this pointed out flaws in his style, because Pereira is one of those guys that he doesn't mind getting hit, which you can get away with at 205, where, he's fighting guys who aren't as big and don't like have the same kind of power at heavyweight, but the margin for error is much higher at that weight class.
Mm, okay. Yeah, and he lost there.
Mhm.
What do you think is the next step for him? Is he gonna go back to his original weight class?
Mm, I'm I wouldn't rule out him staying at heavyweight, and in interviews, that's what he's kind of implying that he wants to do, which fair play to him. He basically kind of cleaned out most of the exciting fights at 205. He, knocked out Yuri Prohaska twice, defended against Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree, and won back the title after losing to Magomed Ankalaev, which that kind of takes away all the exciting things to do and for him. And, he went up to heavyweight to try and do something that had never been done in UFC history, which is winning titles in 3 different weight classes. And I wouldn't rule out him staying at heavyweight, and there's still like matchups for him, because, he kind of has this curse where he loses at least once in every weight class. So far he's 2 for 2. And I feel like if he's smart, he'll take a little bit more time off. And, he has some built in beef with Josh Hokett, who is kind of on the hot seat right now because of his comments in his post fight interview. I'd like to see him back, because heavyweight is right now, it's kind of the worst weight class in the UFC. There aren't a lot of exciting fights in there.
So since you already brought him up, we'll transition to
Mhm,
him, who seemed like also another kind of much talked about fighter there, all for the wrong
mhm,
reasons. So you had Josh Hotick there, who, like I said, made disparaging comments there about the first lady, the former first lady, Michelle Obama there. He called her a man there. And this was after the post fight interview. Joe
mhm.
Rogan there was there doing it. So he said Michelle Obama's a man, and he said, "Am I right, America?" Now, in that moment, was there any cheering, clapping, and it was what was
Uh,
the
I couldn't hear clapping in my watching it at home. Apparently the reporter says it's like kind of just like shocked silence, maybe like 1 or 2 errant claps, which that is kind of Hokett's whole character. He's kind of doing the Hulk Hogan thing, where he'll just say and do outrageous shit just to get attention. Is like in the behind the scenes, he's like putting on this character of like a nervous Nelly, and then he throws on the bandana. He'll like do a cholo voice. Even at the weigh-in, he was like pretending to throw up on himself, like playing like he was drinking the night before and being like scared of it, which I get it. This is a sport where you have to have like attention on you in order to get big fights, but the talent is there. He's like legitimately good. He doesn't really need to do any of that.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, people don't talk about this guy. Even seems like from my understanding, even hardcore fight fans, that this guy's kind of a joke. Like they think see him as
Yeah,
kind of a clown.
yeah, he's a clown, and he kind of has a point. It's like, hey, if you don't like it, beat him in a fight. Which, you
Okay,
know what?
yeah.
Okay.
What's his record anyway?
He's undefeated. I think he's like
10 and
7
0.
and 1, 10 and 0, 10 and 0. But and he's had basically the fight of the year in his fight before this with the Curtis Blades. It was like one of the few heavyweight fights where it goes past the second round and both of them are still somewhat fresh and still throwing, which is a rare thing, especially in today's heavyweight division, which more often than not, it's just two like very fat, out of shape people slugging it out for like 3 minutes and then just lying on top of each other for the rest of the fight. No energy, no cardio, no like instinct to finish.
Um, and you
Because
you
and
oh,
I think I've brought this up before on it was either this or it was Hunter's podcast, The Real Pineapple. It was like all of the like heavyweight talent, all of those guys, they're going to football. They're going to like other sports. You know, you bench warm on the NFL and you're getting paid 250K. Meanwhile, in the UFC, yeah, you come to here and you're getting 12 and 12.
hmm. I don't know if this is the best person to listen to, but I was seeing something from Brendan Schaub, who
Oh, he's
used
a
to
fucking moron.
okay. But I was listening to him say something, and he said that as far as athletic talent and level, it's higher in sports like football, and then people's fallback plan if they can't make it in football and NFL is to be like an MMA fighter. You know, because he says like he walks into like like maybe a locker room in college football.
Mhm.
There's like 10, 20 of him that look like him that are him, but in MMA, it's not so much. Is that
Mhm.
somewhat true? How true is that
I
really?
mean, he would be the one to, to speak on that because that's basically what he did. He kind of, made it to the Buffalo Bills practice squad, but he washed out. He was like kind of a very mediocre football player, and he came to MMA and did pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, he was decent for a minute. I mean, I think wasn't he like the 10th best guy at heavyweight, I think?
Yeah, I think when he retired, he was like 14 at the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, before he had like the real bad loss, I guess he
Mhm.
was decent. Yeah, he's decent for that.
Yeah, he had a couple decent wins against older guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you mentioned watching the event. So did you, cause I think you could only stream this on Paramount Plus, right?
Yeah, yeah, ever since, January this year, Paramount Plus is the exclusive streamer for the UFC and like a 7 I think $7.7 billion deal, which is like one of the most lucrative in sports history.
Mm.
So all of their events, are streaming there, no pay-per-views anymore.
Mm. Okay. And it was kind of funny. People were remarking like, "Hey, this is supposed to be a celebrating America event, but you could only get if you paid for this paid subscription for Paramount Plus and everything like that." Was there any issues with it at all, like streaming it? Any glitches or
No,
any?
no,
No, okay.
streaming it, it looked great. Streaming it, I didn't have any issues, with the broadcast. Besides Joe Rogan, them putting a tie on him, it looked like one of those like children's clip-ons.
Yeah, I did. I saw Joe Rogan there. It reminded me of like a dog, like when you put like maybe a like a tie on a dog or something like that. Or Boss Baby or some shit like that. Like that was such a
I
like
mean,
a
they're both
little ass.
bald. I mean, they're
Uh,
both bald and like 5 foot nothing.
yeah, kind of you had that, but it was just such a small tie. Let me see if I could show it here.
It's like we are not a serious country.
Yeah, it was like it just didn't fit the his body at all there. So you had that kind of just this like kind of little tie kind of going on there. The commentating team, it was him and Daniel
Yeah,
Cormier
yeah,
and who.
him, Daniel Cormier, and John Anik, which is like the standard for all of the like numbered cards.
Mm, okay. So that and then so if you want to rewatch if people want to catch the
Mhm,
fights, if they didn't catch it, you could
mhm.
just get Paramount Plus or can you watch it on YouTube or they put them out there too?
I think they put the highlights on YouTube. Haven't really done much searching for that since watching him.
Okay. Since we mentioned Daniel Cormier, so even before the fight happened, which I didn't watch because I honestly forgot it was happening,
Mhm.
UFC 250. I was like, oh, I was busy watching NBA finals. I mean, this is when the NBA finals were happening.
Yeah, fair.
But and it was Knicks and Spurs, and it was Knicks won there. So that was kind of a big moment. But so I just forgot. I was like, oh, that's happening right now. That's happening today. But Daniel Cormier, so even before the fight kind of happened there was something of kind of a stir that happened. So there was a
Mhm.
tweet from Daniel Cormier. So it is a real tweet,
Uh-huh.
but it was deleted quickly. I don't know exactly what the time frame was between when he tweeted it and then when it was deleted.
Mhm.
And you probably have seen this as well.
Oh, oh yes.
So Daniel Cormier tweeted here, said, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for bringing this to light. However, I refuse to stay silent. The UFC is a sport that I am deeply passionate about, and I will not tolerate this type of insider behavior. Shame on anyone trying to ruin this beautiful event. So it's a tweet about a DM exchange between him and Eric Trump, the son of the president Donald Trump there. And then you
Mhm.
have Eric Trump here who says, hey, Daniel, I'm going to be attending UFC 250 tomorrow. Saw you were casting. Hope to see you there. And then you have, which is supposedly Daniel Cormier saying, yo, Eric,
Mhm.
didn't expect a DM from you.
Mhm.
Excited to meet you and the family. Much love, brother. And then you have Eric responding, going, anything you can tell me about the fighters tomorrow, who you got winning. Then Daniel responds, haha. I like to say unbiased, but I loved watching the Nicole fight there. And then Eric responds, anything you can tell me about the fighters tomorrow, who you got. And he says,
Mhm.
yeah, that's what he says that. And he says,
Yeah.
Eric Trump says, you placing any bets? Dan Cormier says, no, I'm actually
Yeah,
not allowed
it's
to.
like yeah, it's like long story short, Eric, if we believe this, Eric Trump is like fishing for, hey, is who are you picking? Is anybody injured that you know about? Is like just straight up asking, hey, any of this shit rigged?
Yeah, because he says like, yeah, are any of the fighters injured that you know of? And he says, I'm not quite sure why you're asking me this, but I think they're all in good shape. And then that's when he supposedly says, I'll cut to the chase. Are any of the fights tomorrow rigged? I've been eyeing the Lopez fight and think an upset wouldn't be too unrealistic there. And he put dollar sign emojis. And he says, none of our fights are rigged. And honestly, I'm appalled that you would even ask me something like that. So he deleted the tweet. So he's saying that he was hacked, is what he's saying,
Mhm.
and that there wasn't a real Twitter exchange there, and that didn't happen. And then Eric Trump says that didn't happen. And then later on, Daniel Cormier tweeted, "Are people really this dumb?" That's what he tweeted there,
Mm.
in reference to that there.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, kind of just trying to like gaslight and possibly like save face.
so what do you think about this? From my understanding, Daniel Cormier is usually always pretty an upstanding kind of straight
Mhm.
arrow kind of guy
Yeah,
there, mostly.
yeah, it was like Daniel Cormier, he's kind of one of like the like straight arrows, one of the good guys of the sport. Like it was kind of nuts when him and his rivalry with John Jones was going down. It was like, you have Daniel Cormier who's like the clean cut, who's like the very respectable guy, and you have John Jones who had just served a suspension for hit and running a pregnant lady and failing drug tests, and Cormier is the one getting booed at the press conference. And it's kind of
Mm,
nuts how that played out. And, Cormier is one of the like guys on the straight and narrow. I think he's kind of a shit commentator, but all of that aside, I think he's, one of the good guys still.
okay, so you believe the story that he was hacked?
Um, I believe that he is trying to save face because Dana White is so closely tied to the Trump family.
Hmm. So you're thinking he tweeted that out on his own account,
Uh-huh.
on his own accord, then
Yes.
maybe got a call from Dana White or somebody go like,
Like,
"Hey man,
hey,
you can't
shut the
be."
fuck up, clown shoe.
He got a call from them and says, "Hey, you got to take that down." And then he took it down, and then he's running
Mhm,
cover and going like, "Okay, we got to run with the
mhm.
thing that I
Yeah,
was hacked and everything."
I this is unsubstantiated, for legal reasons. I'm just speculating, but I believe that is possibly what happened.
I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, sure, he got
Mhm,
hacked. I mean, the DM exchange, I mean, it seems like that's the first time they've ever spoken. Could
mhm,
be. I mean, it could be like the first time they've ever
mhm,
spoken with each other. I mean, I don't know how close they are with each other. I know I mean, Trump has been at multiple UFC
mhm.
events. I don't know how much his sons have been there too, but it's not impossible that they maybe
Yeah,
would talk more on Twitter DM, so there'd be more conversations there than just that. Because that seems like they never talked to each other before, and it's like an initial conversation because you don't
mhm,
see anything prior to that. Um, Also, so that's got me thinking maybe that could be fake, but
mhm.
then also it is the Trump family,
And
and
also with Eric Trump, and it was like, do you really think it's out of character for him to like try and like fish out if the fights are rigged? Which, the UFC just like in the last couple of years have had like multiple betting scandals where weird action has been weird betting line action has occurred. You have a lot of fighters who've been accused of taking dives, which that's illegal and the risk of federal prison.
and all this insider trading stuff, like the stuff with
Mhm.
Iran and like them, like him announcing on social media to
Mhm.
Trump about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So the stock market manipulation,
Mhm.
the stock will go
Oh,
high, stock
oh,
will go low.
not just that, but also him allegedly purchasing stock in TKO Holdings, like, the day they announced the UFC White House card.
Oh, that too. And
Mhm.
then I think his like because these fighters got paid with
Yeah,
Trump
it's like
crypto
the bonus
coin.
yeah, it's like the UFC, they do, post-fight bonuses for every show. I think, they raised it at the start of the year from, like, okay, you get a finish, it's $10,000. The, like, performance bonuses, so, like, knockout or submission of the nights, 100K and 100K for, the 2 fighters involved in the fight of the night. So, for this event, they raised it up to 250,000, but in the caveat that it's in the Trump family's crypto. I think it was like what Liberty Financial Banking,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. That's the name of that insurance with the Liberty Mute. That sound like that shit.
Liberty. Yeah, it's yeah. If you remember the Michael B. Jordan State Farm sketch, it's the insurance company that won't fuck your wife.
Yeah. But yeah, they got paid with his like crypto thing bonus, and shit like that. But it's like, why would they want that? Why they just want actual money? But I mean, these guys, I don't know. It seems like a lot of the UFC people are really into Trump, even the fighters. I mean,
Mhm.
just dancing for him and everything like that.
Remember,
Um,
these are people that got punched in the face for a living.
yeah, a lot of them seem to be really into Trump and everything like that, and that's a
Mhm.
sport that seems to be like they've gone all in on the Trump thing, but Daniel White
Mhm.
insists like, "No, this is not political."
No, we're not.
We
Hey, we're not political at all. Let's have a
eh,
fight on the White House lawn.
let's do that there.
Let's have a
And there
no, the hilarious thing, let's have a fight on the White House lawn and not invite our one American champion because he talks shit about Benny Netanyahu,
who's that? What's his name?
Sean Strickland.
Sean Strickland, that guy there. Didn't he get escorted away from the event?
Yes,
Like the
he did.
police?
He crashed the event and got escorted by the cops.
What was he exactly doing there? Was he
I
just
think he
like,
was just, like, acting a fool.
yeah? So he got
I think allegedly it's like, apparently he wasn't cleared to be at the event because, you're fighting you're going to the White House, so I just imagine security clearances getting, having, the chance to be properly vetted. I imagine that's like a whole hullabaloo.
I don't know if this clip will show him
And John
being.
Strickland made, like, multiple jokes about prior to, like, him winning the title about, like, "Hey, I don't wanna fight in front of the Epstein list," or, talking shit about Israel.
It says the unplanned presence of Sean Strickland drew significant attention from attendees, resulting in disorder. It says the United States Park Police Public Information Office wrote in a statement, according to ESPN, due to concerns for Strickland's safety and the safety of event patrons, personnel from the U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Park Police, and other assisting agencies evacuated him safely from the area there. And then this is like the picture you have right here of him. He's just like barefoot for some reason. Like, where's his fucking shoes? He's out there like Tarzan. And then on a video posted on social media, according to MMA Junkie, part of the USA Today network, Strickland said, "I'm pretty sure I didn't break any law, but I might be going to jail."
I mean, Strickland's also a troll, so he's another one of these kind of fighters that will just say outrageous shit to get attention.
Mm, yeah. So you had that kind of going on there, and then there was also like a terrorist plot that was going to happen with UFC 250 there.
Wow, just
Uh,
gathering all of these political figures on the White House lawn in one location in an outdoor event. Who would have thunk it?
So that was also a big thing with this. They says 5 men arrested and charged in plot to attack and kill government officials and other attending the Ultimate Fighting Championship at the White House there. And then did you see the suspects there? They also showed the suspects. And one of them
Uh,
is it.
I haven't seen the suspects. I didn't really follow that story.
And then the one dude, so this dude is claiming it says he's 19. It's the oldest looking fucking 19-year-old you ever will see. So this is the dude right here. And it's like 19.
Honestly, if you look like that at 19, terrorism might be your, like, only way out.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ. Well, I don't know if I guess if he was trying to do this, maybe
I'm
women will send him some
I'm just
photos or something.
I'm just thinking the fucking, of that scene from Bad Boys 2. It's like, shit, motherfucker, you at least 30."
Yeah, he must be taking a lot of maybe steroids or something. That must be what it is. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. You just that age is speed running, bro. Oh my
That
God,
motherfucker
bro.
got city miles on him.
Jesus Christ, bro. Already bald. It's just like, jeez. You can't even really go good beard too. Like then the mustache area. Yeah, it's growing on the chin. Like, damn, he
He's
can't even
kind of
grow.
got he's kind of got that Dagestan beard.
Yeah. At least if you're gonna be bald, at least you gotta grow a good beard, like Kratos
Yeah.
or something. You gotta grow at least a good beard. If you can't even grow a good beard, you're fucking cooked.
Oof. Yeah,
Like,
you're cooked.
yeah. Any final word, UFC 250?
Um, yeah, the UFC, I feel like they're because Conor McGregor is coming back in a couple weeks fighting Max Holloway. I think they are really banking on a McGregor win so they can match him up with Gaethje and have them both ride off into the sunset.
I mean, ain't McGregor ain't he washed?
Oh, 100%, but they're giving him like also older Max Holloway and after like a 4-year lay after a little bit of a layoff coming off a loss and up a weight class. So Holloway, he's now fights at 155 and they made the fight at 170.
Mm, okay. Yeah, so that's the next one. When is that? July 11th.
Yeah,
Okay.
July 11th. So in just like a little over 3 weeks.
And you got Conor McGregor in that fight.
Mm, at 50, if it was at 55, I'd pick Max Holloway, but at 70, with what I'm guessing, McGregor is gonna try and wrestle Holloway, which is how Holloway lost his last fight. I'm a little bit more inclined to pick McGregor now.
Mm, okay. Yeah. So that was UFC 250.
Mhm.
That were our thoughts there on that. Very good.
After the event, I just like played in my house the song from Team America
Mm.
after Gaethje
America.
won. America.
Was there
Fuck
any
yeah.
fighter that was like worth rooting for? That's like kind of like a decent guy at all? Like somebody like any?
Um, on this card, yeah, I rooted for Diego Lopez. I was rooting for Mauricio Hufi. I liked Alex Pereira, and that was kind of the thing about the main event with Topuria and Gaethje. I like both of those guys. They're both great fighters, and from what I've seen, they're decent dudes outside the cage.
Mm, okay, so at least you had some
Mhm,
decent people to root for there.
mhm.
I heard that Derek Lewis. I mean, like they say, like any sign of adversity, he just kind of like turns into a turtle or some shit. He just kind of
Yep.
just yeah. Like I think I've even seen fights where he just kind of turned into like a turtle. He just put on his back and was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna do it anymore. So yeah, so that was kind of how like that fight was just like he just didn't even he
Mhm.
just kind of gave up
He
basically, or
he straight up did not want to be there.
oh, okay. Gotcha. Is he that dude that always does those post fight things talking about he wants to fuck Ronda Rousey
Yeah,
or
he
something?
he's like famous for like after he won a fight, he like took off his shorts and his answer was my balls was hot.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's yeah, man. The brain scans on these people, man, after they go away will be fascinating. It'll be man, very worth the science.
We're gonna learn so much about CTE once all of these guys pass.
Yeah. Oh man, they gotta donate those brains, man. All right, people. Thank you, Nick, for that analysis on UFC 250.